My name is King Khan.
Okay, so my first question is, like, how did you move from punk to rock and roll and soul, and how did you get there?
I think I've always, my name is King Khan. I grew up I was born and raised in Montreal, in Canada. So I remember hearing rock and roll music when I was a kid, listening to oldies radio stations. And then I first heard punk music when I was, I think, about 10 years old. My friend in my class, his brother was a punk, so sometimes he would wear his T-shirts, like Dead Kennedys, Holiday in Cambodia, or Sid Vicious shirts and stuff. So whenever I saw the shirts, I was always like, wow, what is that? And then he would bring tapes to school from his brother, mixtapes. And then where I grew up, at recess, you go outside for 15 minutes to take a break. The kids would play outside, so we would sneak back in to the class and then take the tape recorder and play these tapes. So I remember the first punk song I heard was Nazi Punks Fuck Off. And I didn't even really know what a Nazi was at that age. I was just like, I just liked it because there was swearing in it. And then I remember hearing Maggie You Cunt by DRI. And so, yeah, I just got into punk rock that way. And then I guess when I joined the Space Shits, I was like I think I was about 17 years old, and then I discovered, first there was the Mummies and Supercharger on these bands, and then I guess a lot of these compilations, there's one record label especially called Candy Records and Satan Records. They put out this comp, Shake and Fit, and also I can't remember the name now.
No, I was just because
Hanging Out to Dry. Sorry, Hanging Out to Dry. Those compilations, we listened to it all the time, and so yeah, then my life was saved by rock and roll.
No, I was just saying because I heard you saying something interesting about what punk music is. Like, it's not like the style, it's like it's the quality of the music.
Oh,
so
yes.
that's the idea, like what you are doing in fact, no? Like, I understand that what you are doing, even though it's not like punk music, it's more punk than what actually the standard punk music could be.
Exactly. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think, well, when I started to listen to all this kind of like rock and roll music and punk music and stuff, and I saw a very big relation between, for example, like old gospel music and and punk music in general. A lot of screaming, it's a lot about passion and about I guess a lot of it has to do with dealing with anger towards the world. So it's more positive to turn this anger into something beautiful than go out and destroy stuff. So.
But what you do is not like what you want to do is not like shocking people.
At one point, there was that element that was always nice, because the easiest thing you could do is to, when you want to motivate people, you can do something really shocking. And when you're young, it's totally fine to get crazy, naked, and.
But what do you want to provoke on the audience with all these?
Just to make people. Well, I think art in general. After you experience art, you should be kind of like mutated forever, So I think that the best art, whether in music or film or anything, is that once you see it once, you're not the same after. So I always try to do that with the show, because every time we play, there's always people who have never seen us before in the audience and stuff, and but I like that people, you blow people's minds. That's more important than anything else.
And did you build like your own persona like thoughtfully, or it's like something that was always inside you, like since a kid, like to dress up or something? How
I did like to dress up as a kid. I made a movie when I was 10 where I played an Indian woman, so I think that was always a part of my my soul. But I think, like, for example, one of my biggest heroes is Little Richard, and I think that Little Richard, for example, really broke all boundaries, with his music, sexual and all sorts of boundaries that we didn't even know existed. So I like to try to carry on that tradition, you know, and I like to. I mean, I think right now in society, there's a lot of people that are going going the wrong way. You know, like transsexuality. People are, you know, it's crazy. People are killing people for being homosexuals and for being, you know, bisexual or transsexual. So I think it's important to, you know, talk about these issues and also I also laugh about stuff like this. But I think ultimately laughter is the best medicine.
And talking about a stage, what's the craziest thing you've done?
The craziest thing? Oh God.
Or you can tell us just one of it.
I know. I'm trying to think of. Let me think about it.
Okay, yeah, you can tell me.
Like,
And for example, even it's not you on stage, but people of the audience that they were doing something really crazy while you were on stage, like maybe getting hurt or beaten or something. Like,
well, I remember once with me and Barbecue, we played in Brazil and a girl gave a blowjob to her boyfriend on stage, and that was funny because he couldn't get it up.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard. But no, I guess there was too much pressure. But you know, we were we were playing in a gay bar in Sao Paulo.
In front of how many people?
I had probably like 200 or 300 people maybe, but it was really hot and sticky and people were dumping drugs on the amplifiers. So yeah, I mean Brazil can get really nuts. So that was one of the craziest shows we've ever played, I think, for sure.
And you enjoy like having this kind of power over the people that you are on stage and you can almost tell the people to do anything, like.
Yeah, I think it's really important because I think
something you have to think about it, maybe.
Yeah,
no?
you take the power. Yeah, I think in a forum we take the power back and there's no laws or rules when we play music, and I think that's like now I'm you know almost 40 years old, and now I think back at all of the crazy things that have happened, and I realize that now it's kind of like a social duty for us to keep doing this, because you know, a lot of kids these days are pretty boring, and they do the wrong drugs. They don't, you know, they get mixed up in bad things, but so you know it's our job now to like be shepherds and show the kids which way to go.
But so do you feel this like a job?
I think it's more of like a spiritual journey that I have to do it to save, because I think it has something to do with saving people's souls. I think that ultimately rock and roll saved my soul, you know, and then I have 2 kids who love rock and roll also because I passed it on to them kind of almost like a religion rather than, you know, something that you eat or you enjoy. You know, it's like they listen to music and they feel the spirit that's there. So I know a lot of friends who don't do that to their kids, and I think it's sad because I think then you lose your children to like pop music, which is really bad. I think pop music makes people really stupid. So I prefer to laugh at pop music with my kids all together as a family and make fun of pop music and, you know, and listen to rock and roll. And then that's the way I want to get old.
So, in fact, as you said about the spirituality, you are like almost a shaman. Like you have lots of symbolic and stuff. So, what's your spirituality that you were talking about? Because I know your origins are from India. I don't know if that influenced you in something.
I'm like a mix up of all kind of different spirituality. It's like I'm like a salad bar of spirituality. No, I mean I don't follow any, you know, one certain religion. I think there's wisdom in all sorts of different things, but there's also wisdom in, you know, some evil things and some crazy things, and I think it's important to, you know, to gather all the wisdom and figure something out.
But for
But-
example, your necklace, the
Yes.
bone one, I know that you wear it a lot. It doesn't mean anything.
It's from Candomblé Church in Brazil. So it has
Candomblé.
something. Yeah, it's a donkey teeth. So it has something to do with the Candomblé religion.
Nice, nice. And what can you tell about your costumes? What's next? What you
My-
can
my-
do? Your top.
I think when my wife makes the costumes,
Uh-huh.
and so because she's the one who understands my body the best. So yes, actually tonight the costume has gone to another level.
Oh.
Yes.
You cannot
It's
tell us
It's
anything.
an infinite. It's the ass of infinity,
So,
or the infinite ass. It's the ass that keeps giving and taking and giving. It's like perpetual motion.
we just want to see it.
You
But-
will see it.
And so you were talking about the wrong things that the new musicians they are making, the decisions, the attitudes, all of that stuff. Do you believe that there is a modern rock and roll? It exists, or is just looking to the past?
That's a good question. I think that you can make modern rock and roll by, being inspired by the past. I mean, the formula of rock and roll is very simple, and I think that's the most important thing about rock and roll is that, you keep it simple, and yeah, I guess it's also it has to do with why you're doing it. If for example a lot of people they do it, just for, for sexual pleasure or just for money or so then I think your intentions are wrong. You have to be doing it to add to the universe of rock and roll. So, oh, that's very hard. I'll do Screaming Hawkins. Ooh, Detroit. Music. Yeah. Berlin. I both. Yeah. Okay. Or small. Yeah. Obviously small. I know. Chair? No, Tina Turner all the way. Oh man, that's so easy. But I'm not gonna do a product thing.
Okay.
But that's an obvious choice because one of
Okay.
them was really shitty. Oh, that's hard. Soundcook. Oh, jazz. Beyonce. Oh. And next. Well, it depends. Wee hours of the morning is nice, but obviously nighttime is the right time. Paella. Oh. I'm gonna say not bra. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay.